one weekend, I thought up this idea of a horse leaping out of a wardrobe, which C.S. Lewis didn't really write first. And it's, because I'd never read it. And this idea of these tiny bandits, these creatures who worked for God, who decided to leave paradise and set off on a rampage through history, getting the things that really count, like money.
All I knew was that Terry Gilliam came with 2 sheets of paper with this idea on it, and it just sounded like a great idea.
When Mike and I wrote Time Bandits, one of the things in the script we had was when the Greek warrior took off his helmet, this is what the script actually said, was that he revealed himself to be none other than Sean Connery, or an actor of equal but cheaper stature. That's what the script said. In our wildest dreams, we never thought Sean Connery would do it.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe what?
I don't believe the way you killed him.
Yes. But it has to be done sometimes.
Well, there weren't any big stars in it, really, were there?
Sean Connery.
Connery,
yeah.
He's only about 5'6", isn't he? John Cleese was the biggest star of the film. What's he, 6'5"?
Good morning. You're all robbers.
Oh,
then,
the best, Mr. Hood.
Jolly good. And you're a robber, are you? Jolly good. And do you enjoy robbing then?
Well, it helps pay the rent, sir.
Jolly good. And you're a robber too, are you? How long have you been a robber?
4'1".
Good Lord. Jolly good. 4'1".
Yes.
Well, that is a long time, isn't it?
The extraordinary thing was the facility with which one adapted to working with people, I think they're called, of diminished growth. It was quite extraordinary how strange it seemed for the first 2 hours, and by lunchtime it seemed the most natural thing in the world.
Well, I mean, it's frightfully kind of you. The poor are going to be absolutely thrilled. Have you met them at all?
Who?
The poor?
The poor?
Oh, you must meet them. I just know you'll like them. Charming people. Of course, they haven't got 2 pennies to rub together, but then that's because they're poor.
In those days, Terry Gilliam, who will never cease being a genius, was an even more amazing genius, simply because if any of us were to go along on the day when the giant was being filmed, rising out of the water, all of that was a phenomenal image on the screen, and yet I'm sure in the studio on the day, there was nothing to it at all. Time Bandits was made for under $5 million. It's quite extraordinary, and I don't think that there was anyone in America who believed that that film cost less than 15, if not $20 million.
Right. Now, what
The difference is that now Terry Gilliam can actually make films for that amount of money, and that would be a cheap film for him.
I like working with tight budgets because they force you, why are you looking like that at me? Why are you looking when we're sitting in front of a $45 million film? Why? Up till this moment in time, I was known for making films cheaply. Towards the end of Time Bandits, that's when things got a bit tougher, because there were certain things that Dennis wanted cutting out, and I wasn't about to cut them out. Particularly, tasty things like eating rats and things like that, which you've got to do in a film of that sort. He's very squeamish about things, and these are the things that made a scene interesting.
What, anybody? Might be the last meal yet?
It wasn't a horrific thing, it was very funny. And we had a lot of arguments at the end. I think that was the beginning of the end of the relationship. I just think I would prefer him to stay doing what he does extremely well and let those other people deal with the other things.
I think that would be a very silly thing for us to do, because if we're going to be crazy, then we have to develop some safeguards, and we also have to develop a very keen interest in what we do.
We tried to get into situations where we could sort of edit the screenplay rather than shoot all the screenplay and then edit the film and chuck maybe £500,000 worth of footage on the floor. And we had a few rows with Terry, but very small compared to the trouble he's had with recent films.
Oh, Terry Gilliam falls out with almost everyone he's ever met and doesn't speak to them for 3 years, you know. This is part of Terry's life. It's sort of a deep pattern, which I think it would take him many years to cure.
Terry Gilliam's never satisfied with anything. He's just made a $45 million film and he's still complaining. Didn't have enough money. He's just a silly old bitch. I mean, he's very sweet. I took him out to dinner last night. I paid, of course. Tight little American git.
At the end of the film, I'm a crazed person, and the film is my child, and I'm his mother badger, and everybody is a threat to it. And there was a point where I threatened to burn the negative. I had reached breaking point, and I said, if you're going to insist on those cuts, I'm destroying the whole thing. I made it, I can destroy it. Goodbye.
Benson. I'm a reasonable man.